everybody, today we're going to talk about something that has gotten a lot of chatter and a ton of requests, and that is body memories. What are they, and can we do anything to make them go away? Today we're going to be talking about body memories. I want to start off by addressing this. There's a lot of chatter within the psychological community and a lot of people who believe they exist or don't believe they exist, and they fight it out. You can read the research, you can read the blogs and the arguments and the discussions, and I think the reason that there's so much of an argument is because many people, the people who don't believe that body memories exist, believe that there are no other cells in our body other than our brain that we can actually test and know store memory. Does that make sense? So it's like none of the cells any other place in our body other than our brain and our noggin can actually store memory. The people who argue that body memories actually do exist argue that that's wrong, and they will talk about how they've seen clients. There was an actually really compelling, if I can find the link to it, I think I have bookmarked it, I'll put it in the description. But there was an article where this woman who's a practitioner, specializes in trauma, talked about how one of her clients, when she would describe the trauma in her processing through it and talking it out, she'd been choked and assaulted, and the handprint would actually show itself on her neck when she would talk about it. And this was this woman's thought about body memories really existing, and the fact that at the cellular level our body can store it and it shows it like that handprint. And I've seen it in my own private practice, so I would argue that I think they do exist and that body memories are a real thing because I've heard it from you, I've heard it from a lot of my clients, and the way that it's been described to me in many cases is kind of in conjunction with a flashback, right? So we've had a trauma, we've had something happen to us, and when that flashback occurs and it feels like we're back in that place, we actually feel whatever happened to us in our bodies, whether that be someone grabbing our wrists, whether that be a rape happening, whether that be, being assaulted or punched or anything like that. We can feel it again as if it's happening right now. As I'm sure you can guess by all of the different experiences and examples that I've given, that body memories are most correlated with trauma and someone having a trauma. I have no doubt that there are other reasons that they may happen and you may experience them, but that's been my experience. So leave in the comments if you think there's something else, there's some other experience or something significant that's happened to you that has caused you to have body memories, because I would love to learn more, and that's a great thing about our community, sharing experience with expertise to get the best result. Yay! That's what body memories may feel like, look like. That may be how you experience them. If that's what we think we're struggling with, what do we do for treatment options? The first is EMDR. I have a video on it. I'll link it here. You can click over there and check that out. There are also different forms of trauma therapy, and I've had someone reach out recently to want me to address more of the other types of trauma therapy. So let's get right into them. The next is CBT-T therapy. That is a trauma specialized CBT type of therapy. I have a video about CBT. I don't do CBT trauma myself, but I will look into it more and get back to you on that. The other option is talk therapy, which is what I do. And that's the thought that as we talk through in detail through a trauma, through a terrible experience, that we slowly give our brain time to catch up and process through it so that the flashbacks and body memories can go away. Another option is DBT, and you know that I do that, and that's my thing, but I have a video about it if you want more specifics about DBT. And I think the reason that DBT can actually help with body memories is the mindfulness factor and the fact that we can be aware of what's going on in our body. I'm closing my eyes because that's what I have my clients do, and notice when the emotions start, where they start, and using some of those relaxation techniques or other techniques to help kind of bring that back down. There's a lot of somatic experiencing that we do with DBT, and I think it's really important for us to recognize what's going on in our bodies so that we can stop it before it becomes overwhelming. Also, there's exercise. And I know that sounds really weird to be like, Katie, that's not a treatment option, that's not a therapy, but that's something that can actually help with body memories specifically. A lot of clients feel like they have energy racing through them and they feel really overwhelmed and just maxed out with all that's going on and all that they're feeling and experiencing, and exercise can help exert that energy and get it out. There are a couple techniques that one of the trauma specialists that I'll have on the channel soon, they talk about pushing into walls, doing kickboxing and punching. Those can be really powerful, slash aggressive kind of movements that help us feel like we're breaking our body out of that memory it's stuck in, and it kind of helps us, instead of feeling like energy cycling around and around, that we're getting it out. As a side note, yoga can also be extremely beneficial because of the breathing and the progressive like relaxation that comes along with it, the strengthening of the muscles and the relaxing of it, the flexing and relaxing. So that's another option as well. And lastly, there is a therapy, and I don't do it myself, so this is something that I had to research and read about a lot, but it's called somatic experiencing. And I'm looking down at my notes because they just call it SE for short, just like CBT instead of cognitive behavioral therapy, it's shortened. So SE was created by Peter Levine in 1997. And he believes that because he talks about how animals in the wild, when they go through like a really stressful event, let's say there's a bunch of, horses and they're racing through something, they've been startled and they're running across the field. When they get to a place where they get to stop and they're safe and they're calm, they do sort of like these snorts. Like we've all seen, if you've been around animals, I guess I grew up in the country, so I'm assuming that you've seen animals do this, but they like kick their feet and they snort and they do different things to like, and it's a natural way for their body to come back to baseline, right? We've had this really stressful event and a lot is going on, and we exert this energy, and then our body calms back down. In my practice, I've seen it with deep breaths or stretching, even yawning. There are a bunch of things that our bodies do to kind of bring, it's almost like resetting our system so that it can feel calmer and okay. Therefore, in somatic experiencing, Peter Levine recommends having people do things like that to help their nervous system come back to the baseline and to feel calmer and better. And there's so much more information about this, you guys. I will link in the description the article that I read about it and some of the research behind it. But if you are looking into this and this is something that you want to do yourself, please make sure you see someone who is certified. Peter Levine actually has a training he does to help people better understand it and make sure that they're practicing it properly. Because as with all treatment, it's really important that you see someone who knows what they're doing, because this could be really scary and potentially re-traumatizing. But know that body memories are normal. I have a lot of clients who experience them, and they can be really powerful. And the shitty thing about it is that we find that they're usually the last part of our trauma to go away. And so if you are starting to process through it and you're like, man, my body memories are getting worse, what the hell, what gives? That's perfectly normal. Keep with the program, keep working through it, because after we've kind of processed everything through, all of the other details and nitty-gritty stuff, the body memories will dissipate at the end. So don't give up, and use some of these different tools and tips and tricks you can do on your own, like the exercise one, or checking out some of my DBT stuff and my worksheets. I have CBT worksheets on my website for free. There are so many things. But leave in the comments, as always, let me know what your experience has been. Or is this something that you've been going through? Is this something you've been told doesn't exist? Let me know what everybody's talking about. And if you're new to my channel, click here to subscribe. I put out videos all the time and you don't want to miss them. And if you want to see other content about stuff like this and trauma, click over here and I will see you next time. Bye!
You want me to record this one?
I will kill you